Welcome to Giovanna Designs. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back, and thank you so much for joining me again. Today is a pretty special day for me. This is going to be a painting that means a lot to me. And the reason is that I was contacted by a lovely lady by the name of Crystal. And she told me that she absolutely loves my paintings and that they make her happy to look at them. She watches my videos, she enjoys them, and they bring her some sort of peace. And that is just super, super important to me because she is what I call one of my pain sisters. She has a terrible affliction, let's put it that way, called CRPS. I don't know if any of you have heard of it before, but it's called Complex Regional Pain Syndrome, and it's pretty awful. You're in pain all the time, and it's pretty terrible. So if I can bring any amount of joy to her, that would be wonderful for me. I also deal with a pain condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And we won't get into that right now because that's not why you came here today. But yeah, so I feel a special connection with her. And so I want to make this something really great for her. She's going to also do a couple of other pieces around her house. She's renovating. And so when she figures out her color scheme, she's going to do that and let me know. And we're going to make other things that are special for her. So let's get into what we are doing today. She has a color scheme. There's a lot of wood in the room, and she has a hammered copper accent. And so what we're going to do is a lot of watery colors, but then also some really strong copper accents. So I am using the Amsterdam copper. I've got a lot of different colors here today. Blick metallic teal. This is the ARTEZA Prussian blue for some depth and contrast. I've got LIQUITEX Basics bright aqua green, Amsterdam sky blue. And then this was my own concoction I made a while back. I don't really know what's in it. I know there's ARTEZA in it, and I think I mixed some of the pearl in it because it is a pearl color, but I don't know the base color, but it's just a pretty little mint pearl, and so that's that. I'm also mixing in my primary elements. I have strayed from the primary elements family, let's put it that way, for a little while. Just for a couple of paintings I didn't use them for different reasons and for the theme of those paintings, but yay, now I get to use them again. So today we are going to use Mediterranean blue, teal zircon, and then I made a mixture because I wanted it to be minty, but then I wanted a little more depth than this one. This is Sea Goddess. I don't know if you can see that. But it's very, very pale, and no, you probably can't. It's very, very pale and more of an interference color. And so I mixed that with mermaid scales, which is really pretty. So that gave it just a little more solidified, color to it. Because those have a tendency to be transparent. So we are working with a big canvas today. It's an 18 by 24. So I might have a little bit of a funky camera angle so that you can see as best as possible. Because I don't want to do straight on, you'll miss half the canvas. So, all right, I think that's about all I have to tell you right now. Let's get going. Here's the dried result. This came out absolutely gorgeous. It almost glows. And I want to tell you, just from back here, this side that's got sort of a shadow on it, that's because I'm standing here and I'm blocking the light, but I can't help it. There's no other way around it. So I'm just going to bring you in for a close-up to get you to see everything that's going on here. You see how this dried? It dried absolutely perfectly. But the blue-black, the iridescent, I mean, it literally glows. Like, it looks so pretty. You see all that movement in there? The camera just does not do it any justice at all. The line colors just look very sharp, and it's not at all like you're seeing it, unfortunately. It's just really, really beautiful. Like, see, that almost looks orange, and that's gold up there at the top. That's gold. That's not orangey at all. But it's coming across that way on camera for some reason. So that's it. And she is still available. So, although, I don't know. I'm going to have a hard time letting go of this one. This one's just so gorgeous and so different. But if you're interested, please email me at giovannadesigns@gmail.com. Oh, yeah, that's right. And this is without a varnish or a resin on it. I think I'm gonna resin this one. I know, I'm a little scared to do it, but I think I'm gonna do it because I think it would really highlight it and make it just with the glass-like finish on it would just be so pretty. Okay, and we're back. As always, hair is up, camera's down, canvas ready to go. Okay, I have leveled it, of course. I put the tape on the back and the screws to keep it up off the table. Okay, so we're just gonna go with our white base again. Pour enough on. Everybody asks me, how much paint do you pour on the canvas? I don't know. I don't measure. I put enough that I think it will cover the canvas. You know, start off being conservative. You can always add more if you feel like there's not enough. But I feel like I put a good amount, you know, all around, and then I blow it around with the hairdryer. If I don't have enough, then I put some more. You know, and don't make yourself crazy just worrying about how much base paint you're going to use. Unless you're going to use a colored base paint and you're mixing it especially for that painting, then you kind of need to know. And there are different, what do you want to call it, charts online that can tell you the square inches, I'm saying square footage, the square inches of your canvas and exactly how much paint and how many ounces of paint you're going to need to cover it. So you could do that if you need to. But you know, when you're working with white and you already have like a giant tub of it that you use for everything, I don't think that you need to measure it out. Okay, here we go. And we're done. Okay, so let me get my little tweezers because something flew into my paint while I was blowing it around. You, get out of here. Okay, let's pop our bubbles because I have a lot of them. Okay, the other question is also, you know, when you're putting your base paint around, here's another little something. When you're blowing your base paint around, how do you know how much to leave on the canvas and how much to blow off the canvas? First of all, if you're hearing thumping upstairs, I apologize. My daughter's doing her cartwheels again. What you want to do is just have a, I'm like, what is going on? I got a lot of little lumpy things in here today. You want to have just enough to have a thin layer on your canvas to cover it up. You don't want a thick layer left on there. That's why I really like to blow it around instead of just spreading it around with a stick, or I know some people use different, you know, cooking tools and stuff like that to spread it around. I feel like I get a thinner, more even coat, you know, base coat, just by blowing it around. But it does take a little bit of practice, and you know, it can get a little crazy if you go too fast, or on, you know, keep your hair dryer on low for sure. All right, I'm just running through with my squeeze bottle because I had just enough to cover the top and it really didn't, you know, roll over the sides too much. And so I need my sides covered nicely. All right, there we go. Just take your finger over. Don't forget about your edges, your corners, I mean. Don't ever forget about your corners, especially on a level 3 canvas. They always have those cut edges, make me crazy. I'll never understand it, ever. All right. Well, it seems like anytime I have a very important video, I have technical difficulties. It happened on my first video. It happened on the first video that I did of my ocean series. And now it's this one, a very meaningful video to me. Well, so what happened was the phone rang in the middle of my recording, and I thought that I had turned it back on, which automatically shuts my phone off. And I thought that I had clicked record, but my fingers were painty. And so I was trying not to touch my phone completely and get paint all over my phone. And so I didn't hit record thoroughly enough, and it didn't record. So I had ended up already pouring the paint on the canvas at this point up to here. I didn't blow it out or anything, but yeah, so what I did was just, I scraped that off. That's why you see paint all over the table, and I figured I'd pour it back on again, so at least you could see the method to me pouring the colors down, and the way that I was swirling them and such. So what I did here was, I interspersed the primary elements in with the other paints, as I always do, and layered them one by one on top of the other, but swirling, as you see here. I didn't make exact puddles necessarily. I really wanted this to be very blended, and I find that that helps to do that. I also did what I call kind of like a barbell look, because I want more paint on the ends, and with a bigger canvas, this is a good technique to use, and less in the center, because I want to make it more of a thinner effect in the middle with a flare on both the top and the bottom. So here I'm putting down the copper though in stripes, because I really wanted the copper to be not blended as much. I really wanted that to stand out, and I didn't want mud. And I was afraid that, the blue and the copper together, since the copper is an orange base, you can have a tendency to do that. And so this is what I put a lot of copper in there, because we want a really heavy copper look, but I did it with a little bit different technique there. So here we are pouring the white around, as always. Throughout this little voiceover here, I'm going to just shut up at some points when there's really nothing to explain, like me blowing the paint around, and just let you enjoy the music. What I did here was also put more white on the ends and less in the center. I find that if you take your white and pour it evenly around the whole thing, because you're doing a thinner center section, you could have a tendency, and this is what I'm explaining here with my hands. I talk with my hands a lot. You could have a tendency to have too much paint in that center after you blow it out, which can cause drying issues. Here we are, just blowing the white over the colors. I didn't want to blow them completely over either, just enough to blend them. And here we go. Now I was hoping to get a flare to go sort of curved clockwise on the top section and then counterclockwise on the bottom. I have this envisioned in my head as more of a kind of a yin-yang sort of shape to it. That worked really pretty on the bottom almost immediately. The top I had to work a little bit more on just getting that shape. But I did have a lot of paint, so I did have to blow it all the way out to the edges, which, as you can see in the top here, became a little bit too blended. That's what I'm saying there with my hands. A little bit too blended for my liking, so I'm going to have to tweak that. And here we are with the scraper. Gotta love the popsicle stick. Now, at this point, this is where I get yelled at by a lot of people. Why did you scrape that? I liked that section. Why did you get rid of that? I don't know if you can really see the difference between, well, obviously you can see it, but I don't know if you can see it to the extent that I could see it. The difference between the center section and how bold that is, and then the outer edges and how blended they are. Now, a lot of times that can cause a really cool effect, and you want that blended edge, but in this case, I really liked how strong the copper is and how strong the other colors are, and the blended edges just looked washed out. So we gotta get rid of those. Here we are pouring the white back over. And now it's time to start blowing. As I'm blowing around here, you can see how I sort of wiggle my head as I'm blowing the paint to the edges to get those sort of trademark Giovanna flares on the edges. I like those wispy flyaways, if you want to call it that. Now don't forget, when you do scrape, you have to clean off your edges. A lot of times you scrape and you're getting so, tied up and wrapped up in what you're doing on the canvas that you can forget about those edges, and then you come back in and realize, oops, that whole section is white, and now my, the edge of the canvas has blue on it or green on it or purple or whatever it might be. You don't want that. You want to clean those up now, and you can, if you forget about it, you can paint over them later, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to do that. So just skip that step and take care of it now while you're there. I apologize about that ring light reflection. In person, I couldn't see it. And I don't have my camera facing me, like on selfie mode. I don't think that the quality is as good when you do it that way. So I have, just the back of the camera facing me, so I can't see what you're seeing, unfortunately. And so sometimes there are little technical things like that that I don't catch. And again, I'm going to get yelled at for that, I'm sure, but that whole top section just had to go. It had to go. Now, just like with your hair dryer, you want to go slow when you're blowing out your edges. You can always blow more, but it's very hard to take it away once you've done it. So just do a little at a time until you get what you like. And as always, I apologize about the back of my head blocking you, but I can't help it. There's just no good angle, no one angle that's perfect for every situation where you can see everything. But I think with this you can see most of it. At this point, you can kind of see the composition coming together now. Before, it really just looked like a very blown out, and this is much more character to it. And I decided that it looked better the other way. I felt like the top was heavier than the bottom area, and so I flipped it to see if that would work, and I like it so much better in this direction. Because now that bottom section that used to be the top, the bottom section that's heavier looking is more grounding. So when you're hanging it upright, it gives that, sometimes you can't even really pinpoint what's bugging you about a painting, but it's that element of a grounding effect that makes you feel more comfortable just looking at it. It looks right instead of something's a little off. And I like also that the aqua was much more prevalent at the top now, which just feels a little more airy and wispy. Here she is, a special painting for a special lady. I really, really love it. All right, let's zoom in and show you all the little details of what's going on here. There's tons of lacing and little baby cells. Okay, so these, okay, you see that? There you go. You see all that sparkle? That's the primary elements. I've got my little camera light on so you can see that. It's really kind of blanketing everything. It's so beautiful. It came out really pretty. Okay, I have to stop going so fast. All the little baby cells. I love those little copper cells. They're so cute. All right, and just, I really like how everything just marbled together. It almost looks like nature. I don't know how to explain that. And here's that sparkle again. And tiny baby cells. I love my tiny baby cells. I can't help it. Wow, look at that copper. Oh, that is so pretty. And then you have these little aqua cells popping through. And then these little guys, they look like little worlds all into their own. Color inside of color inside of color. It's so pretty. All right, and then we come up here. And this section. That's where I was talking about all that teal. Oh gosh, look at that sparkle. I'm a sparkle girl. I can't help it. I like glitz. There we go. See, look at all of those crazy little cells. I think there's just so much interest in this piece. I really hope that she loves it as much as I do, because it's just, I feel like I could stare at this one for a really long time and keep seeing new little things. See, look at those itty bitty baby cells everywhere. They're all throughout. And then you have over here that lacing going on top. And then your little baby cells over there. And then the flared edges. You know, the camera almost picks up the copper as brown. It's not brown. It's not brown at all. It's a true copper. And you can see it when the light goes over it. There you go, see? Now, if I look up like that, that looks brown over there. It's not brown. Here it looks like brown. It's not brown. That's all the copper. It's just my stupid camera. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I have to stop. I have to stop going over every little itty bitty inch. All right, that's it. Isn't she wonderful? I love it. Crystal, I hope you love it too. I really do. You're a special lady. And yeah, I tried to make you something beautiful, and I hope you really love it. That's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And I would love for you to stick around and see what else I do. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.